N'eziokwu, Chineke kere ndị Igbo wee kee ha ụmụ nwaanyị mara mma nke ukwuu. Ọ bụghị sọsọ mma ka ha mara, ha makwa ihe nke ukwuu. Ofu n'ime ụmụ nwaanyị ndị Igbo mara mma si n'obodo Enugu. Ana m ekwu maka onye ọkaiwu pụrụ iche, ya bụ Nwaada Ibekaku. Ọ bụ nwaada mara mma nke ukwuu wee na-eme ihe pụrụ iche maka ihe ọ na-eme ka onye na-achị Naịjirịa, ya bụ ọchị Naịjirịa bụ Muhammadu Buhari, ji kpọọ ya ka ọ bịanyere ya aka n'ihe gbasara ihe ndụmọdụ n'ihe gbasara iwu nke ala anyị na ihe ndị ọzọ. Maka amamihe ya ka o ji weta asambodo dị iche iche, wekwara ntụrụugo dị iche iche na mba ụwa dị iche iche. Nwaada m na-ekwu maka ya bụ onye ọkaiwu Juliet Ibekaku Wangu. Ọ mara mma nke ukwuu, mara ihe. Maka amamihe pụrụ iche a ka ndị mahadum, ya bụ mahadum Go University, ji kpọọ ya ka ọ bịa yie mmụta ma ọ bụ nkụzi pụrụ iche n'oge ha mere emume nke iteghete eji hibe mahadum a bụ Go University. N'eziokwu, ka Juliet batara, ya bụ onye ọkaiwu Juliet batara, ndị ụwa fụrụ ya n'anya nke ukwuu. Ọ pụtakwara wee kwuo okwu dị iche iche, wee kụzikwa nkụzi n'ihe gbasara ime mpụ nakwa ka a ga-esi gbochie ya n'ala anyị ka ọ na-akpa mkpam. Barrister Juliet Ibekaku Wangu, ọ kụziri nkụzi pụrụ iche igosi na amamihe ya pụrụ iche nke ukwuu. N'eziokwu, anyị were mmadụ, anyị were ụmụ nwaanyị mara mma nke ukwuu nke Barrister Juliet Ibekaku so na ya. Ngwa genu ma fụkwa na ihe niile mere n'ụbọchị a ndị Go University mere, nke ha ji hibe University a nke iteghete ha mere. Ngwa lekwa nke ihe niile a ji mee.
To meet me, my Vice Chancellor, to have this very rare honor and privilege to invite our beloved sister, the Special Advisor to the President, the Legal Luminary and the National Coordinator, Open Government Partnership Support Unit Nigeria, Barrister Juliet Ibekaku Wangu, to present the 9th Foundation Lecture of Godfrey Okoye. Let the hands clap as she mounts the University of New York. Thank you, and God bless you.
First of all, I must recognize the Vice Chancellor of Godfrey Okoye University, Most Reverend Professor Dr. Christian Aneke. I'm most grateful for the invitation to be here today, and I was a bit embarrassed with that introduction. Thank you very much. The pioneer chairman of the Board of Trustees of Godfrey Okoye University, Professor Joseph Chizzy, Board of Trustees, members of Godfrey Okoye University, members of the Governing Council, principal officers, deans and directors of programs, academic and administrative staff of Godfrey Okoye University and this group of institutions, students of the Institute of Ecumenical. Can you all clap for yourselves for being here? Students of Godfrey Okoye University, you are all recognized. The media, my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Let me also recognize specially my own also lecturer, Professor. Professor Kerr was also my lecturer on international law. And one of the rare professors that you find globally, he actually ignited my interest in international law, I have to say. And so I went on to read international criminal law and human rights at advanced level. Today, I must say that when I was invited for this lecture, I struggled with the topic because Prof said, speak on the reform and legal and policy issues that you are aware of that is happening in the government. And in doing so, I had to choose a topic of my choice. And so I hope that you will like the topic and that you really come to understand what is happening in the country. I feel a bit concerned that I have to struggle because I don't think I like the fact that I have to be at the back. I have to back all of you. But you have to bear with me. So the topic of this lecture today is corruption as a national development challenge, 18 years of legal and policy initiatives by the federal government of Nigeria. This is the 2018 Foundation Day lecture of the Godfrey Okoye University, Thinkers Corner, MNA, Enugu State. As you all know, corruption, both in its high and low typologies, is an enduring problem in Africa. It is widely believed to constitute a major drag on the continent's progress and development. Concerns about corruption have intensified globally in recent years, leading to legal frameworks and policies on anti-corruption. Corruption affects all sectors of society adversely. It corrodes national cultures and undermines development by distorting the rule of law, the efforts of democracy and good governance. It endangers stability and security and threatens social, economic and political development. It also drains governments of resources and hinders foreign investments. As you all know, Transparency International and a host of other organizations have defined corruption as the abuse of entrusted public power for private gain. It can be defined as grand or petty, depending on the amount of resources lost. It was the realization of the effect of corruption on development that the former Secretary General of the United Nations, late Mr. Kofi Annan, worked assiduously with the international community to develop the United Nations Convention Against Corruption that was adopted in 2003. Kofi Annan stated that if fully enforced, the UN Convention Against Corruption can make a real difference to the quality of lives of millions of people around the world. And by removing one of the obstacles to development, it can help us achieve the Millennium Development Goals. Now, this was in 2003. Today, globally, we are struggling to achieve the Social Development Goals, the SDGs. We know that many countries are struggling to invest in roads, in education, in health, and overall welfare of its citizens. Prof, you alluded to the issue of education as a major development challenge for us in Nigeria. And that is one of the reasons why Godfrey Okoye University came on board. And one of the reasons why we are still challenged today by the fact that the quality of education that we have in this country is one that all of us must be very concerned about. And so, according to available records, evidence indicates that corruption in Nigeria dates back to pre-independence, where political and military leaders in Nigeria have been used to, or have been said to have stolen or misappropriated billions of United States dollars since independence. The effects of corruption have brought embarrassing moments for Nigeria and Nigerians all over the world. In 2017, for example, Transparency International reported placed Nigeria as 136 out of 176 countries on her Corruption Perception Index. At the 2016 Anti-Corruption Summit in London, the ex-white Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Cameron, referred to Nigeria and Afghanistan as fantastically corrupt countries. Nonetheless, successive administrations since 1999 have made considerable efforts aimed at combating the menace of corruption. This paper examines the legal and policy framework by successive administrations in Nigeria to combat the effect of corruption and its implication on the democratic stability and economic development of Nigeria. The paper will also identify challenges posed by fighting corruption in Nigeria, and the paper will conclude by seeking to identify recommendations or ways in which sustainable economic development can be achieved as we try to battle this counter war. Some time ago, President Olusegun Kpakpando said, corruption is the greatest single bane well-being of our society. And if you all recall, President Muhammad Buhari once said, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. Corruption in all its ramifications is severe and has permeated Nigerian society. The prevalence and preponderance of corruption activities dates back to the early independence. I mean, we can all remember the introduction of MAXA, Mobilization for Self-Reliance, Social Justice and Economic Recovery, as well as the National Orientation Agency in the past, the war against indiscipline, and corruption, and all efforts to combat corruption by the military government. While corruption in one form or another is a nation problem, it has incidents in different times and at different places, with varying degrees of damaging consequences. Like most developing countries, economic growth and development has been stifled in Nigeria by a number of factors, including poverty, insecurity, insurgency, climate change, capital flight, inflation, currency devaluation, lack of access to quality education, as well as lack of economic opportunities and unemployment amongst young people. And most prominently, this is caused by corruption within the political arena. It is widely argued that political corruption is the bane of all the development problems we have in Nigeria. Thus, without mincing words, the phenomenon has ravaged the country and destroyed most of what is held as cherished national values today. Unfortunately, the political class, saddled with the responsibility of directing the affairs of this country, has been major culprits in perpetrating this act. Nigerians have often hoped that soldiers who come from a more structured and regimented background compared to their civilian counterparts would be apt to free the nation from the stranglehold of corruption and impose a much-needed professionalism in the country's civil service. However, this turned out to be a major pipe dream. Instead, the military, unfettered by the rule of law and guarded down by the lure of personal gain, became a vanguard of unbridled self-aggrandizement and frenetic lobbying. This explains the continued existence of an increasingly predatory and self-interested ruling class. This is further illustrated by reports, and these are global reports, that is made that the embezzlement of public funds and corruption proceeds of the former General Abacha amounted to $4 billion United States dollars. Now, what are the anti-corruption efforts in Nigeria from 1999 to 2018? The restoration of democratic rule in 1999 brought hopes of accelerated socio-economic development for Nigeria. However, corruption has become a major obstacle to our quest. It is to be noted that more efforts on anti-corruption garnered strength in the advent of democracy in Nigeria from 1999 to 2018. After the First Republic, and mostly during the democratic era, Nigeria has criminalized corruption in all its ramifications. Since Nigeria started its war against corruption, a host of anti-corruption legislation has been conceived towards good governance, supported by the enactment and judicial validation of accountability and transparency, augmented by anti-corruption legislation. The Constitution provides in Section 15(5) that the state shall abolish all corrupt practices and abuse of power. It is generally acknowledged that constitutional democracy is the basis for good governance, as good governance is the antidote for corruption. The Constitution provides for a code of conduct for public officers and makes it a political objective for the state to abolish all forms of corruption or corrupt practices and abuse of power. The Supreme Court has enforced the provisions of Section 55 in a number of cases. And one of those cases is the Attorney General Ondo State versus Attorney General of the Federation and 35 others, as well as Olabisoye versus Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, in most of these cases, the Supreme Court have interpreted that the provisions of the Constitution is what gives the federal government of Nigeria the legal mandate to enforce acts of corruption and also to enact laws, particularly the laws related to anti-corruption in Nigeria. Now we also have the Criminal Code Act. The Criminal Code Act addresses corruption in a more general criminal law standpoint. It does not define corruption. However, the law criminalizes various forms of offenses, including fraud, bribery, obtaining by false pretenses. It prescribes various sanctions and imprisonments ranging from 3 to 7 years imprisonment for the commission of any criminal conduct. Now, coming back to 2000, when President Kpakpando was in office, the ICPC was established in 2000 during the democratic government under the President Olusegun Obasanjo administration. The commission was set up under the Corrupt Practices and Other Related to Offences Act. The ICPC Act is an anti-corruption specific legislation and vests on the ICPC the mandate to prevent, educate, receive, investigate and prosecute reported cases of corruption. The Act has a nationwide applicability on all public officers at all levels of government in Nigeria. The Commission is composed of a chairman and 12 other members who are all appointed by the President upon the confirmation by the National Assembly. And to ensure its independence, the law provides that the President can only remove members of the ICPC while acting on an address supported by 2/3 majority of the Senate. The Act grants the Commission legal independence by providing that the Commission shall not subject or shall not be subject to any other authority except as provided by the Act. Now, it's arguable whether the ICPC is independent in reality, but these are facts that some of you have had occasion to interact with the ICPC and one that I will allow you to assess at your own time. With regards to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, we have the EFCC Act of 2004. Another legislation on anti-corruption. The Act broadly defines corruption outside the purview of bribery and expands the definition of corruption to include financial crime, advance fee fraud, as well as economic crimes. Economic crimes that affect the development of Nigeria. This Act enables the EFCC to coordinate all institutions involved in the fight against financial and economic crime, money laundering, as well as crimes related to terrorist activities and crimes related to measures to trace and identify process of crime. The Act, like the ICPC Act, applies to all levels of government, private citizens, and public companies that deal with public and private finances. The Commission is composed of multi-sectoral membership, and the chairman is an executive chairman. Unlike the ICPC, the law establishing the Commission did not make provision for legal independence. And so in this way, the EFCC Act sets a different part of, if you like, institutional mechanism for the fight against corruption. The power to appoint the EFCC board lies solely with the President. With regards to the Money Laundering Prohibition Act, this is an act that prohibits the laundering of process of crime and illegal conduct. It criminalizes money laundering and retention of process of crime, and we're talking about situations where after you have been bribed or after you have embezzled public funds and you seek to divert public fraud to other purposes. You either transfer it out of the country or you seek to hide it in the country. The law that prohibits such an action is the Money Laundering Prohibition Act. Now, we can also talk about the Public Procurement Act 2007. What we have realized and evidence shows is that majority of the corruption experienced today in Nigeria originates from public procurement. And this can happen from the project inception, design and execution up till project completion. At every stage of the procurement process, it may appear that corruption may take place if not properly checked. Lots of public funds have gone down the drain in the process of procurement in the public sector. And that is why, for example, we can see that some schools are never completed. You go to your villages, you go to different communities, you see that schools, hospitals are never completed. You see that roads are never completed because something wrong is going on somewhere. And that is why the essence of the fight against corruption is so critical to the development of infrastructure in Nigeria. Now, the Public Procurement Act was enacted to reduce the incessant loss of government funds through procurement of goods, works, and services. The Bureau of Public Procurement was established to bring transparency, accountability, fairness, competitiveness, equity, and value for money on all the procurement activities that are carried out by the federal government of Nigeria. Unlike the ICPC and EFCC Act, this particular procurement act is only applicable to the federal government of Nigeria. Now, it applies to all the ministries, departments, and agencies of government. But it will only apply to the state government where the state derives at least 35% of the funds appropriated or proposed to be appropriated for any type of procurement, goods or works or services from the federal government account. Actions that infringe on the provisions of this act are criminalized and are punishable by various forms of sanctions. Some states have started enacting their procurement laws. As today, we know that there are states such as Abia, Rivers State, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Bayelsa, Benue, Kogi, Anambra, and Kaduna states that have enacted public procurement laws. However, we are still seeing huge gaps in terms of the legal and institutional capacities of the states and local government areas in our various states to manage procurement. Lack of procurement laws and institutional capacity presents an opportunity for corruption in the states and require urgent action. Within our legal framework, we also have the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The Public Procurement Act and the Fiscal Responsibility Act provides comprehensive framework for the regulation of fiscal policies and management of public expenditure at the federal level in Nigeria. The purpose of this act is to ensure prudence and greater efficiency in the planning, allocation, and management of public expenditure. It draws from the economic reforms started by President Olusegun Obasanjo and late President Musa Yar'Adua. The act is also applicable at the federal level, but also we have seen that some states are enacting their Fiscal Responsibility Act. Within the arena, we also have the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. The resultant failure to manage our natural resources and the income or revenue derived from our resources is due to monumental corruption, lack of public accountability, transparency, and good governance. This has formed the basis for the enactment of the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative Act 2007. The objective of this act is to ensure due process and transparency in the payments made by all extractive industry companies to the federal government and statutory recipients, to monitor and ensure acceptability in the revenue receipts of the federal government from extractive industry companies, to eliminate all forms of corruption in the determination, payments, receipts, and posting of revenue accruing to the federal government from the extractive industry. And when we talk about the extractive industry, we mean the oil and gas sector as well as the mining sector in Nigeria. Following closely with the 90 law, we call it the 90 law, we have the Freedom of Information Act that was passed in 2011. The Freedom of Information Act marks a turning point in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. It provides for the right of any person to access or request information or records under the Act, whether such information is in writing or not from public institutions. It has made public records and information more available and accessible to the citizens. The enactment has enhanced the citizens' participation in governance and has actually led to the withdrawal of the Secrecy Act, the Public Secrecy Act. The enactment of the Freedom of Information Act has equally given Nigerians a more robust privilege to participate in the governance of the country. However, the act is still being tested in the Nigerian courts, and we have seen quite a number of cases that have come before the Federal High Court in terms of the interpretation as to whether Nigerian citizens can access information, particularly when you know that the oil and gas sector is very opaque. Most Nigerians want to know how much we are earning from the oil sector. That we have often found this very difficult. However, with the commitment of many civil society organizations, so much information has become available for Nigerian citizens, and you have to follow the provisions of the Act to understand how to get information from the public institutions. Next in line is the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. The Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 limits the use of appeals in criminal trials. What this means is that we have succeeded with the Administration of Criminal Justice Act to reduce the time required for trial of criminal cases. The Administration of Criminal Justice Act has increased coordination among justice institutions and has created the pre-trial management techniques that allow for commencement of trials. The law was passed because of ineffective coordination and weak criminal procedures that have enabled lawyers to undermine the judicial process. This has also reduced the opportunities for defense lawyers to seek for continuous adjournment of cases without ever concluding those cases. And what this has done in the past 3 years, it has led to what I would call fast-track approach to the trial of corruption cases. And we have seen so many convictions that have taken place within the past 2 or 3 years, which wouldn't have happened prior to 2015. Now we also have our legislature. When we talk about the two houses, or the two houses that we have at the federal level, at the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. By the provisions of Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the powers to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Federation, or any part thereof, with respect to any matter included in the exclusive legislative list, is vested in the National Assembly. The legislation, both at the state and federal levels, are endowed by the Constitution to investigate corrupt practices in the disbursement and administration of appropriated funds. The legislative powers of the National Assembly extends to post-appropriation control through the device of auditing of public accounts by the Auditor General and the conduct of investigation into the expenditure patterns of the government. In recent times, the federal legislature has started its oversight functions by probing public officials for corruption and other financial misappropriation. However, these have been bedeviled with cases and allegations of corruption against the same members of the legislative houses. At the international level, Nigeria has signed on to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. And I have to say that most of our anti-corruption laws we borrowed from the provisions of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. The UN Convention Against Corruption came into force on 14 December 2004. It is an international legislation for combating corruption globally. And Nigeria became a signatory of this convention in December 2003 and ratified it on 14 December 2004. The UN Convention Against Corruption is an international instrument that serves as a benchmark and guideline to other countries on anti-corruption. It is measured on the 5 pillars framework of anti-corruption, namely the preventive measures, criminalization of corrupt practices and conduct, enforcement actions against corruption, international cooperation and asset recovery, as well as technical assistance and information exchange. Nigeria has benefited from the UNCAC process, especially in the area of asset recovery and international cooperation. In the past 4 years, we have been working closely with different countries using the UN Convention Against Corruption to to recover stolen assets from different parts of the world. And this is why it's so important for Nigeria that we do not just fight corruption at the local level or at the national level. We have to work with international partners across the world, with different countries where we believe that Nigerian assets are located in order to recover those assets. We have seen cases where more than $321 million was recovered from Switzerland, and this happened just about 2 years ago. And these are assets that we became aware of since 1999. Unfortunately, we could not recover until last year. And this just shows you how difficult often it is to fight corruption, whether we talk about the Nigerian situation or we talk about the global situation. No matter how you look at it, once the money is taken out or once the assets are taken out, it becomes very difficult to recover. And that's why a strong international regime is very critical for the fight against corruption. We also have conventions within the African Union on prevention and combating of corruption. And this anti-corruption framework from the African Union was signed and ratified in September 2006 by Nigeria. It is a convention by African states aimed at developing mechanisms required to prevent, detect, punish, and eradicate corruption and related offenses in the public and private sector. The convention defines the scope of application of the Convention on Acts of Corruption and related offenses. Within the ECOWAS Union, or the Economic Community of West African States, Nigeria is also working with our colleagues or country partners to adopt objectives of strengthening effective mechanisms to prevent, suppress, and eradicate corruption in each of our state parties through cooperation between the state parties. The protocol on the fight against corruption obliges state parties to adopt the necessary legislative measures to criminalize active and passive bribery in the public and private sector. Now, within this arena, I have to say that the government of Nigeria has also developed different policies aimed at dealing or tackling transparency and accountability efforts in Nigeria. We have, for example, the Government Integrated Financial and Management Information System. The GFIMIS is a sub-component of the Economic Reform and Governance Project of the Federal Government of Nigeria. The ERG project is designed to significantly strengthen governance and accountability, reduce corruption, and deliver services more effectively, with the objective of improving the federal government economic and financial management systems. As a sub-component of the Economic and Reform Project, the GFIMIS is geared towards supporting public resource management and targeted anti-corruption initiatives. The federal government has also established the Integrated Personnel Payroll and Information System, which is called the IPIS. And this is the federal government's policy solution for tackling the fraud of ghost workers that permeated the public service of Nigeria from the federal, state, down to the local government level. The scourge of ghost workers is a form of corruption that the government has worked assiduously to ensure that we reduce the number of ghost workers. And we are aware that in the past 3 years, Nigerian government has saved close to 200 billion by using IPs alone. Nigeria has also developed the National Anti-Corruption Policy or National Anti-Corruption Strategic Framework. This strategic framework will run from 2017 to 2020. The National Anti-Corruption Strategy provides an enhanced framework for national and international cooperation on anti-corruption in Nigeria. The faithful and diligent implementation of this strategy by this administration, backed with the necessary demonstrable political will, will in no small measure assist in changing the climate of endemic corruption in Nigeria. The NAS provides for a 3-year implementation period and is addressing the foundation gaps and weaknesses in current institutional structures, frameworks, and arrangements that undermine previous anti-corruption efforts. Furthermore, it has brought to fore the lack of citizen participation in anti-corruption campaigns. The NACS is currently being implemented by the Secretariat established by the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. With regards to the whistleblowing policy of the federal government of Nigeria, the federal government, in reacting to the hues and cries in recent developments relating to the misuse, diversion and outright theft of public funds and assets, and the absence of any legislation on whistleblowers, directed the Federal Ministry of Finance to come up with a whistleblower policy in 2016. The policy cuts across the public sector and is designed to deal with any concerns raised in relation to the breaches of federal government financial regulation, Public Procurement Act, and other legislation on public funds and finances. The policy also specifically extends to issues related to mismanagement or misappropriation of public funds and assets. The policy provides for citizens who provide tips or who blow whistles about corrupt practices and financial crimes to be rewarded between 2.5% and 5% of the money recovered. From the 534 investigations concluded, out of over 1,000 tips received by the federal government in 2018, the federal government has recovered close to 200 billion naira in different currencies. For example, in April 2018, the government recovered 7.8 billion, 378 million US dollars, and 27,800 British pounds. It is important to add that the policy will only become institutionalized when the whistleblower protection bill is passed into law. Let me add to this array of policies the one that I manage directly, the Open Government Partnership Initiative. In 2016, following the President's participation in the London Anti-Corruption Summit, President Muhammadu Buhari announced Nigerians' intention to join the Open Government Partnership. This led to the establishment of the OGP Secretariat, as well as the development of an Open Government National Action Plan for Nigeria. This is a 2-year plan, which is made up of 14 commitments spread across 4 thematic areas, such as fiscal transparency, access to information, anti-corruption, and citizen engagement. I think the most important aspect of the Open Government Partnership is the citizen engagement, which allows citizens at different levels to engage with government and to ask questions. The OGP is made up of 42-man board, or if you like, steering committee. The National Steering Committee sets the policy for the Open Government Partnership, and this is now implemented by the National Coordinator, which is my humble self. The commitments on anti-corruption include the establishment of a public register, a public central register of beneficial owners of corporate entities, the transparent management of recovered assets, the establishment of a platform for sharing information among anti-corruption agencies, and the improvement of coordination of anti-corruption agencies. The Open Government Partnership is a platform for the sustainable implementation of Nigeria's commitment to combat corruption. It is an international multi-stakeholder platform that allows for civil society organizations and governments to co-create reforms for good governance and improve citizens' access to government policies and monitor its implementation. With the implementation of the OGP over the past 1.5 years, Nigeria has reached certain milestones, including the conclusion of a memorandum of understanding for the management of the recovered $321 million with the World Bank, Switzerland, as well as the international community and civil society organizations for the purpose of transparent management of these funds. The federal government, through the Office of the National Social Investment Office, we apply these funds to the benefit of households that live below the poverty line across the country through a program that we call a targeted cash transfer program. The process towards the establishment of a register of beneficial owners will improve citizens' access to information about corporate bodies that may be used to embezzle public funds. I just need to add quickly here that in terms of the asset recovery, we are also hoping to sign very soon a memorandum of understanding with the United States government, the island of Jersey, as well as the government of Nigeria for the return of more than 400 million US dollars. Now, what the government is hoping to do when these assets are returned is to invest these assets to social development programs, one of which is, now that we have investment in the pro-poor policies of this government, we're now looking at using the 400 million US dollars to invest it in infrastructure, to invest it in building of roads, as well as hopefully to make sure that we complete the second Niger bridge with the return of those funds. The OGP implementation has also led to the development of a citizens-friendly budget portal and the National Open Contracting Platform. And these have increased transparency and citizens' participation in governance. With the onboarding of more than 8 states, I can now tell you that more than 8 states have joined the OGP platform. And this platform presents an opportunity for states or state governments to improve on citizens' participation in governance. I will now turn to challenges that we have encountered in the fight against corruption. And that is quite numerous. I will just read a few of them. It is important to note that fighting corruption is not an easy task. It's one of the greatest challenges that face various governments in Africa today. And I would say today, even though the Nigerian government chose anti-corruption as one of its critical policies, or if you like, critical agenda, we are still struggling to understand why, as you try to close the gaps, you see that other places are giving way. What this means is that as you try to deal with a particular problem which has manifested itself, you find out that other problems related to the inability of our institutions to tackle corruption is growing every day. So many challenges have been faced and obstacles remain that make it impossible to rid Nigeria of corruption, despite 18 years of active legislative reform, enforcement and judicial pronouncements. The following have been identified as those challenges. Lack of independence of investigation and prosecution agencies is important. Has also affected the inability of these agencies to successfully investigate and enforce anti-corruption laws. However, this must be guided in a manner that respects the rule of law. So while we are saying that these agencies should be independent, we also have to bear in mind that it's often possible that agencies may want to step beyond their mandate. And so this is where the rule of law comes in, and this is where the judiciary comes in, to make sure that anti-corruption agencies do not overstep their boundaries and they do not act outside their mandates. And therefore, we expect that supervisory authorities that do not have political inclinations are required to supervise and ensure that anti-corruption and prosecution institutions work within their clear mandates as provided by the law and the Constitution. Secondly, we have observed that our investigators, prosecutors, and judges often lack the capacity to tackle corruption. And this has come to public scrutiny over time. And we also know that there is need to invest resources in the training and retraining of these officials, both on national and international standards. And therefore, we expect that government will continue to guide and support these agencies in undertaking its responsibilities. Thirdly, the integrity of officers working in the anti-corruption agencies has often come into question. It's often not easy for you to ask a thief to catch a thief. And therefore, the public has complained of lack of trust of anti-corruption efforts in Nigeria. A lot more work needs to be done to build trust and work with citizens to realize the goals and objectives of all the anti-corruption policies and laws that I have reeled out here. This is what the Open Government Partnership sets out to do. It is hoped that with time, citizens can engage more constructively with the government in the fight against corruption. Absence of whistleblower and witness protection laws are major challenges in the fight against the anti-corruption agenda of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Whistleblower Protection Bill has been in the National Assembly for the past 3 years and is still awaiting passage into law. The process of crime bill, which we sent into the National Assembly in 2016, is still in the National Assembly. We have a couple of bills that are still sitting in the National Assembly, and we believe that we all as citizens need to do more work to hold our National Assembly accountable to ensure the early passage of all these anti-corruption laws. Now, we also have the problem of culture and our values. You all agree with me that the society in which we live in is one where persons with unexplained sources of wealth are glorified, and in extreme cases, they are often seen as above the law. This has in no small way affected the sight of Nigerians who desire to acquire assets against all moral standards. A very common example, especially among young people, is the current rise in internet fraud among the youth population. Now, despite these challenges, I think we can still find a way to develop measures to tackle corruption. We have already listed out what the federal government is doing, but despite this avalanche of legislative frameworks, the menace of corruption still subsists. There are no size-fits-all for the fight against corruption. Nevertheless, Nigeria should explore available means to curtail our ranking on the Global Corruption Perception Index. And the thing that we keep on declining instead of, coming tops in the Global Corruption Perception Index. 2017 record was not good at all, and we are hoping that the 2018 report will not be as bad as the 2017. We hope that 2019 will be better, and that globally Nigeria will be seen to be doing something better. I would therefore recommend the following as the policy and legislative agenda to be considered by the federal government of Nigeria, as well as the public, as well as the civil society organizations, as well as the students. You all have a role to play. And we expect that the government will work closely with civil society organizations, organized private sector, trade and labor unions, youth groups, faith-based groups, and the media. Their roles are to continue to advocate for strong political participation and continuity of public sector reforms through our various fields of endeavors. Secondly, the need for capacity building and sensitization on policy reforms cannot be overemphasized. Both government and citizen-led groups are to seek out creative ways to build our capacities on the subject matter. It is often said that no nation can grow more than its universities. We expect that Nigerian universities, such as Godfrey Okoye University, should join hands in developing training programs and research findings on how to tackle corruption in Nigeria. The government should involve the legislative and judicial arms of government in all its reform processes, from the implementation, the design stage, as well as to the execution stage. The government should devise strategies of taxing unaccountable wealth and criminalizing illicit enrichment. There is need to expedite the process of developing a public register of beneficial owners of shares to increase transparency and reduce the capacity of the corrupt to launder public funds. The enactment of the process of crime bill into law will further assist in the fight against corruption. The Nigerian National Assembly should rise up to its oversight responsibilities and also purge itself of all corrupt tendencies. The enforcement of the directives on the designation of special courts and practice direction to fast-track the trial of cases on corruption is something that the judicial authorities must take serious. There is need to allow anti-corruption institutions to enjoy the autonomy and independence required in carrying out their functions, while putting in place adequate monitoring measures to avoid the breach of law or rule of law. There is need to build a culture of honesty and establish a tradition of selflessness and patriotism in public service. The Nigerian public servants should embrace the culture of openness and transparency in the management of public resources. This will reduce conflict and build trust in government at all levels. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, eradication of corruption has been a major preoccupation of successive administration in Nigeria since independence. Despite this, it appears that corruption continues to increase both in volume and sophistication. Without effective systems of checks and balances that can tame the presumptive power of the government, African states, and indeed Nigeria, will remain vulnerable not only to corruption and abuse of public office, but also to the reversal of democratic principles and values. There must be a complete change of attitude on the part of Nigerian political leadership class, because no matter how perfect or excellent the constitution or other instruments for ensuring accountability and checking corruption in the country may be, all will come to nothing unless the political leadership class allows the political will to abide by and enforce them. Finally, in the words of Leo Tolstoy, since corrupt people unite among themselves to constitute a force, then honest people must do the same. The citizens must embrace up to be part of this process. This is so because the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my lecture today.
Please let us give a standing ovation to this very erudite scholar, our own Barrister, Juliet Ibekaku. She has held her top both internationally and within this country. We want more like her to be able to rid this country of corruption, which is her topic for this day. And we hope that our law girls, just in the law faculty, Dean, Faculty of Law, are you paying attention? I am hoping that we'll produce people like her to carry on from where she stopped. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you so very much.